Hello, everyone. You're listening to Heart with Saima, the podcast show for people searching for that courageous person within us who wants to be inspired by listening to stories of ordinary people doing extraordinary things. I'm Saima Dillon, your host. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to be here. So, without waiting anymore, let's dive right in. So, my guest today, Osama. Um, he transforms people's mindsets to pursue their dreams by building their confidence. Life coach of Generation Y and Z, founder and host at Being Strong 99, a LinkedIn live show. In a world where many are struggling with self esteem, anxiety, mental fatigue, peer pressure, and constantly looking for solutions to maneuver their situation, that's where he steps in and works to help people build their confidence, transform their lives for the better by using efficient yet effective, actionable practices where they will accelerate their energy fully and confidently towards their goal, either life, academic, or professional goals, altering their belief to succeed efficiently. So, without waiting anymore, let me bring Osama on. Hello and good evening, actually. Good morning to you, Osama. How are you?
I'm doing fantabulous. Thank you so much for having me on. And yeah, excuse my light. Actually, the other light it just bursted. Actually, the other one, so I had to replace it with a new one.
Anything is possible when actually it all happens just before or during the live, right? I know for
Yeah,
myself, my dog has all kinds of issues just when I go live, and he's barking in the background, and the kids, and it's all part of our live production. It's a reality show.
true, true, so true. Yep.
So how about I give you the platform to do um, go a little bit in depth about the intro that I gave for you. I know you are universal, and bits and pieces that you have accumulated from all over the world. So uh, you know, share about you with us.
Alrighty, and yes, and by the way, shout out to Tim Son, Jenny Gold. I can see all the wonderful people in here. Appreciate y'all. Thank you guys so much for popping in.
Absolutely.
Well, I just a lot of times I describe myself as a lifelong learner. I mean, learning from everyone, anyone, trying to grow and to endure myself in every possible directions. Because the more we grow, the more we learn, the more we realize we don't know of all of the achievement we do. We still realize there's more to do because once we engross ourselves in the pursuit of excellence, which is basically we are on consistent of actually of confidence elevation. We are consistent actually of making a difference in the lives of others. So it's all the time moving towards that because excellence it's a consistent battle with ourselves. I mean, just like in the wordings of Travis Lochner, one of the legends of all, once he said basically about starting of a journey. He said starting is half the battle, but sticking to it is the rest of the battle. So it's basically it's paddling towards to the needle, and then at the same time saying so many people doing great things, and you feel like, man, I'm so inspired, I'm so empowered. So why don't I do the same? Because our presence automatically liberates others, and that's how people actually they'll be able to rise and actually be wise to internalize what's within them, so that they'll be able to do great things in their life. So yeah.
Absolutely. And like I say, ordinary people doing extraordinary things. And I feel that, everyone is ordinary, and everyone is in their journey of life, just trying and endeavoring to, uh, you know, for betterment and I think that's what life is all about. Life is about realizing that we are not supposed to stay stationary, that being stationary in one place makes us stagnant. And that's where we
Hmm.
start having, issues with where we are so unfulfilled and unhappy.
True.
And that unhappiness comes in when, you're just just standing in one place and just repeatedly, repetitively, just doing the same functionalities and doing the same things over and over and over again, and there's just no change.
Hmm.
And for myself, Osama, I mean, in the past, I think 5 years, there's just been so much change that I think I've become, you know, addicted to change, in the sense that whatever's coming my way, just embrace it, and just take it in your stride and try to learn from it, and evolve and grow, and just let the journey take you wherever it takes you, and that's all okay.
Well, I couldn't agree more. I couldn't have said it better. And this one ties in so deeply with the statements from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, season 5, episode 22, as it says, "Life is unpredictable. Not everything is in our control, but as long as we're with the right people, we can handle everything." And at the same time, excellence is an act and not a habit, because it's actually we have to really work in towards it actually to make things work towards the betterment of all. And by the way, shout out to Gabe Leal, one of the legends of all. Appreciate you, my brother, so much for tuning in.
Absolutely.
And this like I loved even of the fact, I mean, of being addicted to change. That's actually a sign of excellence in of it itself, because excellence is consistently, because it always yearns inside of us that wants to change. It always wants, because as we're journeying every other day, if the body cells within ourselves changes every other day, or whatnot, what about our mindsets? What about the way how we think? That's why
The
they
team
say, I
should change
mean,
too.
right,
Yes.
if we cannot change hourly, let's try at least daily. If we cannot daily, at least let's make it monthly. If not weekly, at least, but at least along the line that we continue moving. I mean, the
Grow,
famous words,
right?
right?
Grow,
Right.
just keep growing. And like you said, hey, thank you guys for tuning in, Jenny, Tim, Gabe. Yeah, so I always point this out and say that Gabriel is absolutely wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
He's the one I would message when I started my live streaming. I would ask him, what mic do you use? How do you do this? How do you do that? So I'm always, grateful to him for being the wonderful person that he is.
Yeah.
For Tim
Such
and
a
Jenny, I appreciate everyone being here.
Mm-hmm. 100. Like, I totally agree. I mean, Gabe Leal, Travis Lochner, Tim Son, Nicholas Arno, Junaid Iqbal. I mean, they've been a great inspiration to me. I
Yes.
mean, see them what they do and all of those kind of things. And then the moment when you engross yourself towards that direction, where Gabe once actually when he was on my show, he told me something so powerful. Just like most of the time, because we are literally from the other side of the screen, because we comment and we engage and all of that. But then at the moment when we become streamers, now this is a huge responsibility. This is literally, we are looking at it from the other angle now.
Yeah.
So because for all this time we were from the engaging side, so now we stepped into the stage now.
Yeah.
So wherever the focus goes, the mind goes along with it. So it's like our energy introduces us way before even we introduce ourselves.
Yes.
So yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, I think. Um, hey, Daniel, thank
Da-
you for being here.
Daniel Hall in the building. Hey, how's it going, my man?
Yes, and for everyone who's watching and who's going to watch later, who's watching on YouTube, because I'm having issues with the Facebook, and Facebook has put me in Facebook jail for who knows what. Who can figure out why? So I cannot stream. I haven't been able to. They took me out. They put me back in. They just think someone is getting into, which did happen. So I have to I mean, it did, but now they need to just, get over it.
Yeah,
But for anyone
yeah.
who's watching, Osama is joining us from Cyprus. So he is one of those fortunate people who probably has beautiful weather around him right now. Plus, I think he probably has some beautiful Mediterranean water around him too. So I'm absolutely envious.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Osama, you're working on your PhD. Would you like to share with us, your passion for education, what your PhD is about?
Wonderful. Sure, I'll be more than happy to. So the thing is, because actually being experiencing it actually in the entrepreneurial journey, for itself. I mean, the entrepreneurship and all of that, and personal brand that has actually been bombarded left, right, and center. And I was like, how about now if I get to implement that in the educational sector? So this is where, I mean, Tim Son is asking what time is it? It's 4:12 a.m. So yeah, this is what it is. So now that's why I decided, hopefully in the thesis wise, why this is basically after 4 years. Yeah, 4 years until when I finish. So this the more I plan to focus more towards into entrepreneurship and personal branding. So now, but more basically to dive so deeply into where it's the thesis works, because I was able to see it from the professional sense and being able to see it actually in the real world and business sense and whatnot. So now I thought it's like, how about now if I get to experience it from the academic realm, and to basically to combine those two worlds together, because to me actually that's why a lot of times I go with both those two fields. Definitely I tie it together no matter what. Knowledge and experience. That's why, in the wordings of one of the scholars by the name Imam al Ghazali, rahimahullah, once said something so powerful. He says, knowledge without action is insanity, and an action without knowledge is baseless. I mean, it's impossible to that thing come about. So it's good actually to those two things actually do come in hand. We learn something, we implement, because like the word implies, to know. But to know is to show, because that's why they say, don't tell me what you do, show me what you do, because
Yeah.
that's what showcases whatever we know. And this what actually establishes actually our thought leadership actually in towards the and towards the field of what we are speaking about. And the more we do it, the more actually we learn even more about it. The more we learn more about ourselves, and that's how we rise and grow upon. So yeah,
And I think knowledge without execution is redundant.
yep,
I mean, if you're learning, you've got to execute. Um, and that execution is what will change your journey. It will, and I think we get to write our own story then. Once we start executing.
yep. Because we are the heroes of our own story. It's up to us. We either build ourselves and rise to the occasion and being able to maneuver every situation that we can possibly be. I mean, having the resilient mindset and having that growth mindset, being able to adapt and to adjust, because difficulties, I mean, trials and whatnot, it's part of life. I mean, if because how will we call it a story if there was no difficulties, if there was no problems? And of course, the overthinking, as they said from psychology wise, they said it's like the art of overthinking is basically creating problems that don't even exist. And even psychology proves it so well. I mean, once we think about opportunities, once we mend our mind towards positivities, we're going to have more opportunities. But once we have towards negativities, we're going to have more problems. It's
Yeah.
like
Because
basically
that's
another
what
way
your
of
energy attracts, right? Whatever it is that
yep.
you are thinking,
Hmm.
that's exactly what you're, putting out there, and that's what you're attracting. And and I think your mind is extremely powerful. Osama, did you know that 80% of the things that we actually worry about, they don't even end up happening?
Hmm.
So, we are there, we are in anxiety, we are worried, we are thinking, oh my God, this, oh my God, that. How are, we're just all that overthinking, and we are consuming ourselves with stress and anxiety, and
True.
80% of it doesn't even end up happening.
And that's why even the great way, I mean, even to describe it, where in Arabic there are two words for this. There's huzn, which means sadness, and then
Hmm.
there's khof. Khof basically means the fear before it even happens, right? The fear, for itself. and then there's sadness after the situation happens. But now we're living in times where sadness actually gets to be promoted before the fear. So it is even surpassed it before even the incident even takes place. Just like you said, I mean, before it even took place, it already, I mean, the sadness and everything. But the great way, I mean, is to, I believe, to maneuver that or to overcome such emotions is by taking action. Rather than worrying or what's not, rather than worrying about the crisis, what's going to happen, what if I do this, what about, how about we just focus on the present?
Yeah.
Because I mean present is a gift, right? I mean, we our days, even one of the poets said something so beautiful. He says our days are made out of 3 days. Yesterday we lived it and it's not coming back. Today we're living it and we don't know how long it's going to last, and tomorrow we don't know where we're going to be. So forgive and forget,
Yeah.
and leave the creations to the creator, because you and I, us and them, shall perish. So all of it's all about appreciating the moment and doing what and utilizing what wherever we have,
You've
whatever
got
we
to live
have,
in the
and put it to
present.
good quarters, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
You live in the present moment, make the most of your present moment. You know, who knows what tomorrow is going to bring? Life changes in a blink of an eye. So just embrace it and make the most of your current, present moment.
Yep. I couldn't agree more. I don't know. Should I drop the mic drop right now? But it goes really early in the morning, right? I can't drop the mic. So,
So you were talking about entrepreneurship, and you're working on your PhD in entrepreneurship with a focus on branding. And you said to you, both these things go hand in hand. And I have been working on my personal brand. That journey started for me like a year ago, or a bit more, a year and a half ago. And I've been working on that personal, my personal brand, and putting myself out there. And I have the podcast, and I have, all my marketing going on. And um, so I completely understand the power of branding, and the power of being distinct and
yep.
trying to create yourself differently than everyone else. And that's what I've been trying to showcase myself and my authenticity and who I am, through my
Hmm.
podcast, or through the posts, and through everything that I've been building. So I
Yep.
completely understand the power of branding.
Yeah, because it's not. It's just beyond magnificent. I can hear my voice echoing. Okay, no, it's all good. It's all good. Because of the weather, I think it's part of a couple of things. No, no worries at all. Um, because even you said it, so you highlighted it, you tied it in very beautifully. I mean, personal brand. I look at personal brand as our precious sand that we're willing to hand. Nobody, not just anybody. It's not just like any other sand, because the sand that exists in, let's say, for instance, in Cyprus, might be very different than the one that exists in the States, or the one that because it's got its precious sand, it's got its beautiful scent, and the thing is, and it doesn't mean that we speak to everyone, because once we try to speak to everyone, then we speak to nobody. We speak to nobody. So this is wait also one of the kickboxers once said something so powerful. He said once we become tolerant of everything, we stand for nothing. So there will be a couple of things that we'll be agreeing on. There will be things definitely which is as long as aligned with our values, with our core beliefs and whatnot. And this is what actually what makes us stand out. Even if there are multiples of people of the past or wherever they did the same thing, but there's some uniqueness in there. That's why this is where basically understanding our mindset, understanding our talent, understanding our competence, understanding where we're heading, that's as opposed to focusing on the crisis and the comparison, because comparison is the central core of repelling our blessings. And not to waste time with the crisis of the world. Instead we should be investing our time with the kings of the world, those that have been able to made it, those have been able to make a great difference in the lives of others, those have been actually been doing so much great things, and those actually that are leveling up to the stage, I mean, and actually amplifying the greatness. Because the true greatness, it's not just because us accomplishing all our goals, but it's actually helping others so that they never thought they were able to make it, but to allow them to be able to do the same, so that they will actually have the ripple effect towards everyone and anyone. And I see a question for about Tim San says, it's like, what are your core values? One, faith, love, and yeah, faith, love, and optimism. So yeah.
Wonderful. Ingor, hello, and thank you for being here. And
Hey, Inker.
so, Osama, the world's population is close to 7.5 billion or 7 billion plus. And each and every individual in this world is made different, is distinct from each other.
Mhm.
I mean, if you really think about it, that is just that is just so phenomenal that each and every person is different, whether it's the color of our skin, whether it's our features, or whether it's our hair, or whatever it is. We are all so distinct from each other. And I feel that people should be tolerant of each other simply because of the fact that if the creator did not want us to be so different from one another, the creator would have just created uniformity and everyone would have been the same. But that's not what the creator loves colors, and the creator loves all this, the differences. And I think it if we understood that, and we if we understood that, and we would realize how important it is to respect each other and respect each other's differences, because we were not all meant to be uniform.
Yeah, you said it so beautifully. We were not meant to be uniform. I mean, and not to be the same. It's not to just to go by whatever the society and the expectation. Tim Son, I'm not as smart as you are, man. You're amazing as well in your own path, my brother. Appreciate you, and Jenny, and all of you guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning and appreciate the support. Um, this one actually goes actually towards a lot of the times, actually, once we understand that the universe is greater than us, and once we understand, I mean, of several around us, it's more than just ourselves, me, or how come this person is this and I'm not, but literally because focusing on our own path. Because there is a verse in the Quran that says, بَلِ الْإِنسَانُ عَلَى نَفْسِهِ بَصِيرًا. Human beings have clear overview of themselves, clear overview, right? But and then there is also another verse definitely that says كل يعمل على شاكلته. Everyone should be working in their own purpose. And of course, we've got Nick, Ron, and Lozano in the building. How's it going, my brother? Appreciate it. Thank you so much for hopping in. And yeah, one of the greatest live streamers that heavily inspired me actually to begin on this path as well.
Thank you for being
So
here, Nick.
and actually towards this kindless regard, right? So we always, so now what we, when we pay attention to those things, by the scriptures, by the values, by the actually the captivation that's all exists that all around us, what actually ends up happening is we'll start to look at, it's like, oh, we'll appreciate people for their uniqueness, and we'll respect their differences, because by their differences, this is what actually leaves a mark of diligence towards in the mark of lives of others, because they will eventually bark out for others so that they can ponder, reflect, and implement. And it just doesn't go like, okay, I see a difference in this person, oh, this person is so different, so I can't have conversation with them. In fact, we respect differences, and that's completely okay. We may agree to disagree, but at the end of the day, I mean, the core values exist. That's why even by philosophical standpoint, they say criticize privately but praise publicly. And then they say criticize the speech but respect the speaker. So yeah.
See, and I think the the best example and the prime example of this is literally LinkedIn. And it's this space of LinkedIn where it's this huge group of people, where
Yep.
pretty much everyone in that space is live streaming, have their podcast. People like, literally, Jason is there. Jason, for
Hey,
being here. Jenny, Nick,
Ned.
Ingor, Gabe, Tim, all these people who are taking the time out to be here and to literally, lift us and to provide this strong support system. I think, and we're also different from each other, right? Our content is
100%.
so different from each other. You're sitting in Cyprus. I am here in Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas. And we have all these people in different parts of the world or US, but it's the core values are the same, the integrity, the you
Yeah,
know the desire to build each other and lift each other. And yet we are all so different, because we feel that, hey, by lifting each other,
yeah.
it lifts you you're going to get exactly what you put out there in the universe is, what comes back to you.
185%, because I gotta double down on that. And of course, we've got Reggie Waterman, the legend himself, in the building. How's it going, my man? Hey, Poppin' Ed. Thank you so much for hopping in, my man.
Hey, Reggie,
And
thank you for being here.
Reggie, and this is also speaking of unity, right? Highlighted of unity. There is a saying in Arabic that says "متحدين نقف متفرقين نسقط," which simply means was that when we unite, we rise, and that's how it'll be wise to internalize.
Yes,
But when here's the thing, when we disperse, that's when we drop. This is the is
absolutely.
even if, and this is what I'm pretty sure even at the same time comes from it's one of the verses in the Quran. Basically, it says لا تنازعوا فتفشلوا. Do not actually be fighting or argue with each other so that you will drop, you'll fail.
Yes,
Definitely it will lead just towards failure. How
yes,
about we come towards the common ground, the common rule, the common norm, right? That's why also there is one of the scholars says something so powerful actually in the wordings of when it comes to listening. He said اسمع لتمتع ومتع لترفع, which simply means listen to entertain, to understand, to comfort, and comfort to elevate. Because actually, with truest listening leads to intention, leads to ingenuity, meaning of the fact it's like not only am I listening with you, not only am I listening to you, but at the same time I'm here with you and I hear what you have to say. As opposed to it's like because even in the books from the book of Seven Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey, once he said most of the people listen with the intention to respond, not with the intention to understand. How about if we withstand and literally try to understand from the other angle? Just like basically now we're from the, it's like a mirror from another angle. So I might write a big number or six. I might see it as number six, but you might see it as number nine. Does
yeah.
that mean I'm wrong? Does that mean you're wrong? No, it
It's
just
just
means that we're
perspective.
looking different perspectives, right?
And it's okay to
Different
have different
perspectives.
perspectives. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that, like I said earlier, I think LinkedIn is a prime example of, that support system, building each other, pushing each other forward, and being there for each other. And I think this is very unique to LinkedIn. I don't see that happening a whole lot on Facebook, but this platform, it's just great, amazing people, all surrounding each other and building each other. And I think that's just fantastic.
Like several pearls, right? We say كلمات من طبقة من ذهب, which means words out of pure pearls, gold. Because and actually all of the other social platforms, let's say for instance like Instagram, Facebook, and you name it, so many of the others, it's all based about competition. It's all based about comparison, and it's all based about ego boosting. That's all there is. It's all about that. But basically, but when it comes to LinkedIn, most people they take a different approach, more of a mature mindset. So because people from the other outskirt might be like, it's a professional platform. No, you just have to be professional, suited. No, you know. But he is completely different. In fact, it's like an endless journey. I call it the endless university. Literally, you could be learning so many
Yeah.
things. You could be learning, engaging with people from across the globe you never thought that you'll be connecting with, and no, you never thought that you'll be working with and establishing projects together. But as opposed to other places, it's like more comparison, the likes, the likes, the shares, the comments, and all of those kind of things. But it's actually by growing organically, it all comes from intentionality, right? And this is where it comes by captivation, because once we engage to engross others so that they can do great things or
Yeah.
wonderful things, it goes, it has a, I mean, it has a way of coming back to us. I mean, with the goodness that we put into the world, it
Yeah.
always has a find, it always finds its way coming back to us, because we can't heal what other people feel. If we don't feel what others people feel, then we can't heal. And that's just simple real deal, because we can't heal what we can't reveal, in the wordings of Dharma. So yeah.
Whatever you put out there, you put good, good will come back to you. And actually, um, if there's something that you need in your life, if there's something that you feel is missing in your life, if you start putting it out there, you know what, it starts coming back to you tenfold. I'm the prime
Hmm.
example of that. When I started my podcast, for me it was, I was soul searching, I was looking for some answers. And I started my podcast, and it was literally this visual that I'm the different guests who are coming in every week, I'm knocking on doors. And 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 that's kind of what happened. People started coming in my life, and through my podcast, building friendships. And you know, they were enriching my life, and they were just it just taught me you know, the best thing, Osama, that this journey of a year and a half since I've been doing my podcast, that it has taught me, um, was that regardless of where you come from, regardless of the color of your skin, regardless of anything that makes you feel that we are all different, we are actually not different. We are so similar. Our problems are so similar. Our hardships are so similar. Our joys, our happiness, and the core of everything, you know, that literally unites everyone, that's love. And it's so powerful. And that is just something that holds everyone together. And so we're thinking we are so different, but we are not, and we are actually so similar.
Yep. That that is the great way, I mean, of to think about it. That's why a lot of times when we connect from the inside out as opposed to outside in, we'll start to understand, like in the wordings of Tim Son, it's like we all want love. Yep, 100%. Because that when we approach it from the inside out, as opposed to people for who they are,
Yeah.
right? That's why, I mean, also when it comes to teamwork, when it comes to collaboration, when it comes to multiples of directions that we may even dive into, we'll always realize, I mean, we bleed in the same color, laugh in the same language, cry in the same language, breathe in the same air. So this is where the reason, I mean, why do we hate? Why we can appreciate when, of course, we've got Google Translate to amplify and glorify everyone and anyone, right? So
Yeah.
basically, this is where the stage is what it's all about. The moment when we start actually, as we're going through, I mean, the moment when we start to appreciate, the moment actually we start to glorify and people appreciating people for who they are. There's so many awesome things that happen. Just like I mean, it's actually, it's just all about starting it out, and then slowly but surely you start finding your way path into it. But because the intention was actually building a lifetime relationship with people, slowly but surely people already started flowing into you, right? Already people
Intention.
started flowing, right? Genuinely. That's why
And I,
it says, go ahead, go
no,
ahead.
no, I was just saying, and that is something that the Quran does mention over and over again as well. It talks about your niyat and your intention.
Hmm.
And that's like, you know, everything that you do, what's your intention?
True. Because even it says, it's Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, says something so powerful. He says, when he said actually about piety, he said piety is in the heart. So we can now basically testify by somebody's dress code. It's like, oh, that person is pious. it goes by the character, the way how they treat them, the way how they carry themselves. That's why they say, actually, there's also a saying sort of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, said about characteristics. He said, خياركم أفضل خلقا وآدابا في الأرض. The best amongst you are those with best moral characters and splendid. Because that one is even way higher, and even it's even said by other narrations that's even way higher than diamond or gold or any of the precious pearls that we may endure or acquire in this world. Because character, it actually literally amounts to everything, right? And I love even of the fact when you highlighted about intention. There's this statement as well of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, when he says, "Innamal a'malu binniyat." Actions are based off intentions. So a person may end up be say, "Oh yeah, I meant to do this," but what about the intention? Was it heading towards the right direction? Was it in the similar direction,
Purity
or
of the
was it
heart.
something? Right? It's all of those things actually it goes hand in hand together. Its intention comes way before purpose,
Well,
right?
because that's your intention, the purity, whatever you're putting out there, that is laying the foundation for anything that you do in your life. It's that intention right there, the core values,
Right?
like I was asking, your core values.
Hmm.
And that's what it is the purity. What are your values? What do you believe in? And I think that's what pretty much brings everyone together, our the trust and integrity and the desire to help each other and support each other in anything that anyone can do for each other. And I think that's what it is.
Yep. And you highlighted something about actually doing and engrossing, right? So now also there's also actually there's one of the verses from one of the scriptures that says, "Whoever works hard, blessings will be poured onto their hands." So this one actually says something very beautiful actually in the Quran that says, وَأَن لَيْسَ لِلْإِنسَانِ إِلَّا مَا سَعَى وَأَنَّ سَعْيَهُ سَوْفَ يُرَى. Human beings will have nothing except by the pursuit that they put into. So now the only success is going to be attained by the effort that they put in. So what we also learn here, it's about something, it's that quality over quantity. This one plays into the role more, actually plays into the role so much more as opposed to having so much quantity and just doing it. But at the same time, to stay consistent and sticking with it. I also love actually of the fact what Daniel Hall highlights something I often use ascension to represent the pool. You have people that you want to gravitate towards all the good that you do. It's a magnet. It's
It
an
is.
all magnetic, yeah. And sometimes before even speaking anything, it's already people you find
Yeah.
people already
It's
gravitated
energy,
towards
right?
you, right?
It's the aura and the energy that is surrounding you. Um and that's what you want, the people who resonate with you, that's what you want to attract. And sometimes you want people who are not the best people for you, and they don't gravitate towards you, and sometimes it's not the best feeling, but then it's okay, because your energy is going to attract like-minded people, and that's what you want.
Yep, and like-minded attract, right? As they say, like-minded attract. I mean, values, and whatnot. So there will be, for instance, like you said, where there will be certain kinds of individuals that we might encounter, and we might not be compatible, as they say. But of course, they're plus they're like almost 7.5 billion people across the
Yeah.
globe. Just because one was not compatible, that means, of course, there are plenty more along the way.
Yeah.
Plenty more.
And that's
I'm.
okay.
That's
That's
fine.
okay.
Yeah.
You want your tribe to be people who build you and who support you, and who try to pull you up or push you forward. So you do
Yep.
want your tribe to be to have the same core values as yourself.
That this is what it's called shared values, shared beliefs. Though all of those kind of things actually do tie in hand because there is also there's a wise person actually that was asked a question about friendship. They asked him, in fact, they didn't even link it to friendship. They linked it to brotherhood. They asked him, "How do you know your brother?" Says, "The one that carries my concerns, the one that uplifts me, the one that never leaves me alone, and the one that always reminds me of my Lord, and the one that calms me down when I'm mad." Says that how do you compensate them, or how do you compensate him or whatnot? He says the only thing I can do is pray for them. That's the only thing I can do. And there, I'm pretty sure that all of us actually we have people in our lives that have done so much. The only thing what we can do, I mean, is pray for them and trying our level best because we can never repay them.
Yeah,
There's no way we can repay them. I mean, that's why I call it, I mean, standing on a lot of people's shoulders that, for instance, that helped me get wherever I am today. I mean, when I'm looking at so many wonderful people actually doing so many great things. So I wouldn't say it's basically it's like I did it. I was like we did it. So just recently, actually, Be Strong 99, we reached episode 110. And so do I say this is me? No, it's we all made it together.
yeah,
It's because we're building this community, we're building this greatness, and then as I call, I mean, the wordings, of course, of Reggie Waterman, the legend himself, once said it's like he says, what I really appreciate is the morning DMs. I call it the power of DMs. That one is worth, I'm pretty sure we all experience it, where basically we're doing that, we feel sometimes, oh, there's nothing going on, there's then the DM that comes along, oh, so, oh, by the way, that changed my life, that changed my outlook. I was in the point of, I was having a terrible day, and then I came across your podcast. Or for instance, I came across the podcast of Saima, Heart to Heart, of course, connecting heart to heart, as they say, qalb bil qalb, means heart to heart. And right, and I immediately felt like, wow, I feel like so much empowered. So now I feel even more motivated to go forward. And so that actually I can do great things in life. Just because I had a rough day, that doesn't mean that I can complete rest of my day doing great things. So yeah.
yeah. I think mm, one of the biggest gifts that you can give someone, and it doesn't cost anything, it's the gift of your smile, or it's the
Yes.
gift of, making someone smile. So, um, I mean,
Mhm.
it can change, anywhere, grocery store, or just smile.
Yeah, yeah.
It just changes it, not just for other people, it actually, you're just sitting there and you just force yourself to even do this, it just changes your body language.
Yep. And because smile takes the negativity far mile apart. And this is why, I mean, of course, the best person to have walked on the face of this planet, or the person that used to smile most of the time, was Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. That's why even they described him from narration, kind of basaman dhahika. He used to smile and literally wide open. I mean, at the same time, he used to laugh wide open. So literally, at the same time, you feel the comfort even when you just beat him.
Yeah,
So,
it's
and
just,
this is what it's right. And this is also, there was also another thing, right? And also smiling is also a charity. It's an act of charity. We might not even see it, but it's already, it gives out so much.
yes,
So yeah.
absolutely. Osama, in your bio you spoke about focusing on mental health issues. Where
Uh-huh.
where is that coming from?
Okay. I've seen it a lot on the social media.
Yes.
I've seen actually a lot. So negativity being bombarded left, right, and center, where others are trying to pull others down so that they can rise up, and this is which is completely a selfish attitude, completely in and for itself, and where basically, and by the way, the ones that do that, they continue to be depressed. They, even though they're stepping on other people, even though they actually ends up hurting them. In the wordings of Chris Brown from the song Freaky Friday, it says, "If you hurt me, then you're only hurting yourself." So it literally goes, whatever goes around comes around. It just finds its way. I mean, this is what it says, literally karma. This is what it is. You do it, boom, it gets back to you. It might not be instant, but reasonable after period of time. Oh my goodness, with mosquitoes that exist around here. But I think they wanted to throw some of the wisdom to the podcast as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a new
So
one.
yeah.
We were just missing the mosquitoes, and
And so in that regard, I wanted to step in completely to eradicate negativity. So for one, of course, I faced it actually when I was young. I underwent through racism, I underwent through discrimination, I underwent through it all, bullying, verbally, physically. So I went through it all. So I know how it feels when I was a teenager growing up. I know it was a lot. So now I was like, now as I started to grow and I started actually getting towards that self awareness, started really reflecting upon all of that, I was like, no, I'm going to become someone that literally stands up and literally stands out against all of those kind of things. I put all of those things to end. I might not be able to do it again. I might not be able to do it by myself, but basically by all of us, we'll definitely will be able to put it to an end. It just takes
People,
one act. Go ahead.
sorry, I interrupted you. I'm
No,
just
no,
saying
it's
that
okay.
people don't realize that the holes that you are digging for others, you might end up falling in one of them yourself.
Yep, yep. It's just basically I mean, the moment actually when you plan to dig, just like when you said that concept, when you try to dig a hole, you will end up actually fall. Oh my goodness, today I'll be fighting a lot with the mosquitoes. It's one of those days, huh? They want to be featured as well.
My dog is calm today, so we needed an alternative.
Substitution. I think there's CIDs or something like that, or CID agents there involved. It's like, okay, now you take over. Um, and that, like, in even towards that thing, right? So when it comes to mind transformation, we have to approach it actually from a way of inside out, literally approaching people, and when the moment then they vent out and whatnot, so this is the moment, literally, like, okay, you give them the space, you give them the stage. Why? And this is where the moment, I call it the, or also Russ Hedge called something, it's like the power of right questions, of asking the right questions. But at the same time, we can dive deeper. I call it the power of keywords. So it's like, I'm always stressed out. It's this kind of thing. It's because of this happens. So stressed out is highlighted.
Yeah.
Finally, I killed it. Finally, finally. Now we can do it in peace.
Get back to
But
business.
shout out to the mosquitoes. All right. And actually, in towards that regard, right? I was even confused because the mosquito have killed. And even towards that regard, the mind, right? Because of the vent, because of actually the pressure, there's so much out there. So now the moment actually when they find someone to talk to or something like that, it's like, okay, listen in, and then literally they even feel the comfort without even seeing anything. They already feel that someone is there listening to me. At least I feel actually I'm venting, but I'm literally getting rid of so many things. That's why, for instance, people, coaches, for instance, like ourselves, so for instance, there's so many people coaches. So it's not to advise, it's not to teach, it's not to prescribe basically a medicine or whatnot, but the only way to act is to be there and to ask questions so that they really understand. Because coaching is at the same time, it's the framework of a teamwork, and at the same time it's actually to understand how the mind works, and at the same time on how the heart is actually being embedded in towards that process. So yeah.
Because words are extremely powerful. So one of the things that one of my mentors, few years when I started this journey, where I was in this extremely negative energy, and I was working on figuring out how to change my energy. And he made me do this exercise, and he said, "Okay, here's paper, pencil, write down all the words that are coming to your mind right now." And so, because I was going through a really difficult time, pretty much most of the words that I wrote down, they had a negative connotation. So he told me that now that these words that you have, whether it's sadness or it's unhappy or whatever it is, anger or disappointment, flip those words. So switch the words in
Mhm.
your mind, change sadness to happy, change anger to joy. Switch those words in your mind. And he told me that anytime he's going to a meeting and if he's feeling stressed, he'll go to the bathroom and he'll just kind of do this mental exercise where he'll be like, okay, I'm feeling stressed. Let me switch the word stress out to, you know, ease, relaxation. Let me switch, just switch from negative words to positive, just the mindset. And it
Correct.
just changes your energy, and it just changes what you're feeling, and you're all set, you're all ready to go and tackle whatever it is that was giving you anxiousness. So I think words are extremely powerful. The words in your head, you need to get the negative words out of your brain, and you need to switch them out and convert them to positive words.
True, right? Because words are technically, you could say, it's like spitting venom. We can either be use it for good and alter someone's belief and bring the success out of them, right? Because words are power.
Yeah.
Power is denomination. Denomination is leadership, and of course, leadership is mentorship. And of course, from the wordings from Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility. With great worth comes with great confidence, and with a great leader comes with a great mind reader. In either actually definitely to understand and read to spread into words the mindset of people, right? And this is what I mean. There are various sources of actually of exercises, like basically to write it down, or of course it has been proven actually scientifically and by the researchers, by working out, taking a walk, or for instance going to the seaside. Already it has been proven to release, or even looking towards nature. It has been proven when you go
Water.
to the nature, water, all of those things literally contribute so much. You feel like relaxed, you feel that your mind is actually feeling in the great way. And of course, shout out to Kneed Dunna Jr., Sever the Flavor, my man. Appreciate you so much for hopping in. And by the way, I believe he's representing Texas right there. I believe Houston.
Okay. Well, he's a neighbor.
Yeah, awesome stuff. And this is what it is, right? I mean, we are really, because here's the thing. That's why they say, before you speak, think. And before you think, click. And before you click, plan. Because all of those things actually it will allow us to think accurately and credibly, so that the words that they come out nicely. So, and it's not just for the sake of fussing out the words, mumbling words, but it literally try to reach the heart. Like, of course, we are on the show Heart to Heart. Hopefully Nike is going to sponsor this show, because they're actually into this featureship of just do it, or we can say just make it. So yeah.
Well, I absolutely. I think it's all powerful, and that's what we hope. I'm a, I'm a, f- my thing to people is that when you put something negative out there for someone else, just think for a second. What if there's a change in energy, and what you're wishing for someone else and putting out there for someone else, what if it turns around and comes back to you? Are you prepared
Hmm.
for that? Because that's what it is, right? It's whatever you put out there will ricochet back and come back to you. So be mindful of what energy you want to put out there for others, because what if it comes back to you? Not even what if, that's the law of the universe. What you give, what you sow, you shall reap.
Hmm. Because so that's why they say, I mean, sow a thought and you reap an act. Sow an act and then you reap a habit. Sow a
Yes.
habit and you reap a character, and sow a character and you reap a destiny. So all of that actually it starts by actually it's because we sow of what we think, and then we reap of what we do. So yeah.
Well, that was quite a few quotes, and thank you for all that positive energy, especially at 4 a.m. in the morning. And I think you're ready for Tahajjud namaz right now.
It's after an hour. After 45 minutes, it's gonna be the morning prayer. After 45 minutes, so yeah.
So we have reached the end of our show, and had a wonderful time with you, Osama. It was an honor and
Likewise.
privilege to have you here.
Yeah.
So how about some parting words, and what would you like to share with the audience? What advice would you like to give them?
Mm-hmm.
It's all yours.
Sure. I mean, thank you so much. I mean, it was indeed an honor and pleasure. I mean, Sam, I mean, shout out and big ups to you and all of the great stuff that you got up to. I mean, approaching the heart and really, penetrating the heart, which will actually activate the mind towards the right direction. So, all I can say, be you, love you, appreciate you, and try to be you by all means and at all times, because that you will basically be taking you towards different directions so that we can actually make others instead of nobody feel like somebody. And that's what it's all about. And I am available on LinkedIn 24/7, not like a supermarket, of course, per se, but but yeah, I'm available on LinkedIn 24/7. We could definitely have a conversation, or for instance, looking for ways actually towards mind transformation, towards coaching and whatnot, one-on-one and whatnot. Please feel free to reach out and let's have a great old time. So yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here, Osama. I'm going to remove you from the stream so I can end the show. And so hold on.
Yep.
All right. So, a special shout out to everyone who has been boosting us and uplifting us. And thank you so much for taking the time out, and for being here and for listening to us. I hope we hope to touch lives. And if, we hope to inspire people. And anyone is welcome to join my email list by emailing vip@simadillon.com. And of course, if you feel the podcast can bring a smile to someone's face, we would love for you to share it on social media. And I will be so grateful. So, having said that, I hope everyone has a fabulous evening.